If your current spouse or partner died, would you move on or stay single? My wife of 33 years passed away 3 weeks ago. Her decline was rapid, going from using a walking cane as an affectation, to using one constantly, to using 2 canes, to needing help getting up so she could use a walker, to needing to be lifted out of bed or out of the car so she could use a wheelchair, to being effectively bedbound, in just over 2 years. We had social services people that at least seemed to be trying to help, but every time we got 2 steps forward, we would get slammed 2 steps back. Couldn't even go 3 steps back, because we were stuck at 0. Then, in April, I was staring at an 8-inch stack of bills from various hospitals and doctors and what all, and a bank account that had about $800 left from the nearly $10,000 family and friends had loaned or gifted us since I had left my job over a year earlier, and I broke. I lost it. I started weeping, because I knew where my next step was, and it would mean I would have to take care of her first, because she could not even reach a phone, and I could not leave her to starve after hearing the bang that would end me. And she heard me weeping, from down the hall. And she insisted I call an ambulance, and that I get help. And the ambulance came. And so did a sheriff's deputy. And the ambulance took both of us to the local hospital, where she got admitted almost immediately, and social workers actually started working to find a way to get her into a nursing home. And I got held in an isolation room in the ER, because it turned out I was positive for COVID, and they could not send me to a psych counseling unit until I tested negative. And I was tested twice a day, and on the 4th day, I tested negative, and I got driven to a psych counseling unit a few hours away. And I got some sleep, more than 2 hours, for the first time in 9 months. And 4 days later, I found out that my wife had been admitted to a nursing home about 25 miles from our house, on a Medicaid program, that we should have been eligible for a year earlier, but because we didn't know about and no one mentioned it to us. Anyhow, it was an immediate relief that she had been given a nursing home bed. And I was released from the psych counseling place with a prescription for a couple of anxiety/depression medications 2 days later. And I spent 2 weeks driving every day to the nursing home, to spend 2 to 4 hours with her. And then she had an incident, pain in her gut, getting worse and worse and worse for hours. A doctor at the nursing home demanded she be sent to the major hospital in the area because her blood work was wrong. And she was operated on, only 2 hours after I had left the nursing home in our visit, and had walked past the ambulance arriving to take her. And we found out she had a bowel perforation. Better described as a bowel rupture. The surgeon that operated on her said if she had arrived even 2 hours later, they wouldn't have been able to save her. He had spent over 2 hours cleaning fecal matter out of her abdominal cavity. She spent 4 days in ICU, and then almost 2 weeks in general hospital room. When the doctor told me what had happened, I nodded, and said all the right things. Then I went out to my car in the hospital parking lot and cried like a child for 20 minutes. And I called her sister, her only living relative, and told her what had been told to me, and told her that I was going to sign DNR papers the next day. And she agreed. So I went to the hospital the next day, met the surgeon again, and told him I was interested in signing DNR papers. This is a strong faith-based hospital. I didn't know how he would react. He nodded and said I was doing the right thing. I talked to my wife. She said, I thought we already had a DNR. She was fully on board, because she had been suffering pain for over 2 years, and it had got worse, and no pain pills could seem to do more than knock it down a bit. She had even been on morphine at doses that were likely not exactly approved, and even that wasn't doing the trick. So she went on hospice care, and returned to the nursing home. Her pain meds were bumped up. She was still uncomfortable, but she could get some sleep. We talked during all my visits. We both knew where it was going, but I was sort of estimating she might live till July 4th, or perhaps even her birthday, August 9th. She told me 2 things that had me crying when I left her room on those visits. You're the best thing that has ever happened to me. And this is from the woman that fought with me, argued with me, screamed at me, and we were not Ward and June Cleaver in any way or form, and 2 days later find a nice girl who will treat you better than I did. Dear God, I have had to restart 4 different times just from this last paragraph. Crap. Make that 6. 2 weeks later, June 18th, I got the call from hospice. Her breathing has changed. It will be soon. I broke any number of traffic laws, and made the 25-mile/2 small city trip, in 20 minutes. Went straight to her room. Slow long gasps. Eyes shut. She was sleeping, well, not awake. I held her hand, stroked her hair, told her it was okay, she could rest. Her parents and older sister and a whole lot of our pets from the past 30-some years, waiting for her. Told her I would be okay. Well, I had to lie about that. I had to. Hospice nurse came in, as well as the nursing home nurse that had been looking after her, Half an hour later, the slow gasps stopped. And it's been 3 weeks now. I'm in line to get rehired at the prison where I had worked until her illness got to be too bad. I've contacted a number of the debtors. Some are going to forgive the debts because she has passed away. I just need to send copies of the death certificate when I get them. Others are, a little reluctant. So I will be declaring bankruptcy and, well, they can whistle for it. I'll work on paying back to the friends and family that loaned and gifted us. I know too damn well just how a couple are going to act. Don't pay it back, pay it forward as for staying single. She wanted me to go out and look for another partner. Another person I could live with, that could live with me, that could at least put up with me. And to honor that, I'll at least go through the motions. I'll meet a couple of 50-plus-year-old ladies, widows, likely. But, I don't think I'll really try. Ask me in a year. Or 2. Or 5. Gonna go cry some more now.